So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know if we're going to meet for a very long time today. You may get a lot of time back. It looks like we're blocked on pretty much everything for the execution bit. Randall and I think we need to talk about something that may have been thrown at us. But otherwise, I don't think we have any other agenda items for today.
Okay. I need to add the program manager role to this section, and I'll submit a PR for that here today, so that we can hire somebody to run the plan and then participate in keeping the CERT organized long term.
Also,
So
Rob,
this would come out of it.
Pardon?
This would come out of the execution bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Yes,
going to
Randall.
say for the Security Buddy program, turns out that there's actually a fair amount of prior art from OSWAP on that I'm getting. So I will, yeah. They published it in a blog about how they have people to go around and kind of like set up a security champion program. I can send you the blog if you want. But yeah, I was talking to Glenn about that, and he was telling me he was going to get me that information because he ran a program for them in ING. So yeah.
For your 3.1, I added an item to our next vulnerability disclosure working group, asking a broader audience to participate on giving us some potential tools or thoughts.
So essentially broadcast the discussion that we started.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I did bring it up in the in the WG meeting twice, but I think a broader awareness might help. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be explicit. We'll talk about it. We'll pull it up, show people kind of what we've talked about, and solicit feedback, and then hit up the mailing list. I might even think about, I don't know if I have to see if we have a general mailing list, or maybe I just post it in the general Slack.
Slack might actually work. I think that there's an okay amount of momentum on it.
And you get a lot of non-standard contributors there. So there's a lot of people lurking. And so
it might actually be better if we want to reach out like a broader crowd.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So I'll take the AR to do that today. And get that in the Slacks.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna put the meeting notes in the CERT document for now, but if we want to have a dedicated document for it, that's fine. Cool. But from the CERT meeting itself, there was a little action item for Randall and I. I can't find it again though. Or was it the WG?
It might be the I have to add. Yeah, might have to add the. It might have been me saying I need to add the PGM.
Yeah, the PGM thing.
Yeah,
that's right. You threw this at Randall and I. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to create a branch and start monkeying around.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, otherwise it's quiet, very quiet out here. Is it supposed to be slow like this, or are we just not having any momentum going on?
Well, we're dependent on, Art and us to write down what services we want to offer, and then we can start to scope out what we need to do that. We're going to have some type of triage service. We're going to have some type of communication service. We could try to, scope that stuff out, but.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
if we want to, we could put in stubs for between the three of us, do we feel, looking at the tools we have suggested, do we feel like Vince would be an option? We want to try to hire some developers to uplift for our purposes.
I've never used Vince, so it's hard for me to have an opinion.
It's very basic. It's a portal. You log in, you can report an issue, and then you can tag people that you want to invite into that issue. And then it's kind of a threaded discussion that does a lot of spam emails.
Could I be on the development team, not like as a paid developer, just because I'm curious, and that way
It's
You know,
open source, so you can have a go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. But is that something we want to do? Do we feel that has merit, that tool has merit enough that we can modify it to what we want?
So
Yeah,
a bit early to settle on one tool, but I do agree Vince has really good potential in the list. Like I was just reviewing the list earlier, and yeah, like pretty clearly there's either Vince or the other idea was GitHub issues. I don't know if Crow, like one of the action items that you had was to talk to TAC or the board about GitHub as like a thing. I don't know if you got a chance to do that.
I did not. I forgot that I had to do that. But I can send an email to the TAC today too.
Yeah, I mean, if like just a quick email, see what their thoughts are. Like if there's a strong push for some reason towards one of the techs,
that they want to use it, or that we would get funding to have our own private instance.
Yeah, like I mean, if there are some like board level agreement between like, for whatever project stuff, we will use GitHub because it's being decided, blah, blah, blah.
No,
Like
there's nothing like that. We're free to use whatever we want. We have the foundation's GitHub license that we can use, but if we wanted like a private instance, we would have to budget for that. And then potentially, GitHub may donate that, but I'm not going to go in saying that they're giving it to us.
Yeah, because essentially if we run our own Vince, we'll need resources and infrastructure as well.
Correct. And we would probably ask one of the hyperscalers to donate that infrastructure to us. But we want a budget.
Correct.
We need blah CPU and blah storage, and we expect this utilization.
Yeah, I mean that's probably not going to be the biggest issue, but you're right. Like we will need to agree, like to account for this, but like the supporting of it is going to be the biggest issue if we run Vince ourselves, right? Just maintaining that thing.
We would want to hire at least one SRE.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right?
Or get like Linux Foundation has ops people, so we would then we could either hire an SRE, leverage something like Alpha and Omega is starting a help desk. Maybe one of those people could help out, or we would talk to the LF and saying we need these types of services to support from you.
So if I can ask a stupid question real quick, so what does Vince do? Is it just like bugs? Is it just like Bugzilla?
It's kind of.
So imagine a ticketing system that's built with incident handling and coordination in mind. It does not have any like scripting features. It does not have any SOC monitoring features. It really is just a billboard where you start an issue, which is an incident, and then you can attach some artifacts, upload some documents, and then you can add contributors to it with little communications of sorts.
Fair.
It's really that.
Yeah, and it basically is a centralized place that reporters can go to report an issue, and then tag in assistant, like if they need CERT CC's coordination assistance. And then once you have an incident, you're able to manage the scope. So it's all private, and you can add in people as they have need to know, or they need to be involved in the disclosure.
Fair. Okay, that sounds pretty good, actually. I mean, I'm kind of partial.
It's a great start, but
I'm open-minded.
Email PGP.
Is that what PGP uses?
Well, a lot of the traditional open source is done through encrypted PGP mail, which is kind of a pain in the ass, exchanging keys and all that whatnot.
Yeah. Remember, Keybase was supposed to fix all that, and then they got bought by Zoom.
Well, and you know,
It's still heavily used.
yeah, exactly. It is a communications channel, and that might be something again that we should put things like that as well, Francis, like Signal and Keybase in our tool list.
Can we
'Cause those
please
are-
not use Keybase, because that does start holy wars. Signal's okay, but I'm telling you, like there's a lot of opinions about Zoom and their infinite number of incidents that never seem to finish. And I
need to
have
be open to how researchers and maintainers wish to engage.
yes.
So
I know that
never
with the
say
security
never.
thing, we have a lot of people in Gen 2 that are very involved in security. Like I know
Are you one of them?
yes, I am. But it's a different type of security, because the old school security where why can't people just build secure software? Like, why do we have to patch things like this? Like, this is not correct. It's just a lot of crap like that.
If only there was a group trying to address that problem.
Yeah. And you see, if I've actually shown the CERT skeleton to Gen 2, and it turned into one of those things about like Gen 2's opinion of Linux Foundation is not great. Just leave it at that. Kind of like, why do you like, what is your point? Like, what do you do? And it's like, I try to explain, but then it's like no feedback. So yeah.
There are a lot of opinions in our space, and we need to balance those out.
Yes, I'm learning to do that. It's been fun. It's been a fun ride.
And no matter what you do, you will receive negative feedback very quickly. And
I've noticed that
rarely will you get positive feedback.
Yeah. I've noticed that the positive feedback comes in DMs and the negative feedback comes from Gen 2 chat.
Twitter.
It's
Yeah. So, but yeah.
But yeah, to Krob's point, we will need to be somewhat very open in whatever
Okay.
channel. Like email is the default, I guess, for like most now, but even then we have to expect that some folks will be like, oh no, I'm only communicating to you folks with like PGP or secure channels. And we'll have to say, okay, fine.
Right.
But up to some extent, we should have some preferences.
Absolutely. Yeah. The team uses X or Y tools as our default, but we need
and that's the thing, since the whole SSF, like OSSF is on Slack, we should also specify that Slack may actually be an intake.
Mm-hmm. It will be, I know for sure.
Yeah. But yes, sorry, Randall, there's not going to be an easy out on that one.
Oh, and with
Keybase
things
will
like
end up-
Slack, we could extend with automation and add some bots, potentially.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
Slack
not
isn't
gonna write that.
terrible. It's actually pretty good. You know, when I started doing the Wayland thing a few years ago, or a few months ago, I started figuring out which apps actually care about their customers. Slack's pretty good.
In that case, we'll put Randall next to Slack.
You will be in charge of Slack.
I can do Slack.
Yeah, Slack admins, all those things. You'll be the emoji creator.
Yeah, I could do that.
So for triaging, do we want a dedicated app for this, or like, are we okay with a queue that's somewhat Vince, or that could be a feature request in Vince?
Yeah. Potentially we ask Vince for a module on CVSS scoring, or whatever.
Do they still have only one dev?
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's why if we want shit done, I want to hire our own people.
Okay. What we should do though is like actually come up with a list of requirements or projects or feature requests, whatever you call them, and be like, hey, these are critical. This we're willing to actually fund, and let us know how we can do it.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a good approach, and that's something we can do while we're waiting for, the services to be worked out. When we're waiting for the
yeah, we'll have to
surveys
run, we'll have to work with some assumptions for sure, but yeah. So here's what I can do in the meantime, between now and 2 weeks time. I will
They
try
have
to
an
come up with a list of
API.
requirements. Randall,
Pardon me?
sorry, what?
Vince has an API.
I think so.
Sure.
I'm looking at it.
So here you go. Randall is Slack and Vince API.
Love it.
I will put Randall's name next to things. In between now and 2 weeks time, I will have a look at Vince, see how easy it is to run their own instance in whatever cloud bucket thing. Crobe, if you could, I'm going to write down.
Do they have a
these
container?
action items. I'll have a look. Yeah. So
That might be a nice contribution if they don't.
yeah.
No, they don't.
So,
But I can do that. I'm good at containers. I don't know if you want to work on it together, Francis.
okay.
Oh.
Well,
Writing
not
this down in
anything
the
that
email.
shows up. They have Vincent, but not Vince. There's nothing named Vince.
If you look on the discussion thread, I did put a link to the GitHub repo to it.
They do have one on their GitHub.
Yep.
Yeah, then that's something we can use these times for, to kind of start our requirements for platforms.
Hmm.
Hold on. I have to restart my computer. I was playing video games. I'm not gonna lie.
So, Crobe, I put you up for asking the board about cloud credits so that we can see what it is. Like, do we have Azure? Do we have like Amazon? Do we have cloud? Google
Azure.
Cloud? I'm sorry, what?
It's Azure.
Is Azure? Okay.
Yeah, Azure.
It's a terrible word.
If we had a alternate preference, we can express that. But Azure is typically where, when someone needs cloud compute resources, that's where it gets fobbed.
Okay.
And that would be a request to the TAC. We could put it in the plan, but basically there's a process where I would do a proposal to the TAC. I need X amount of credits for this service, and here's what it does. And they have the authority to approve kind of small stuff. If we don't
Is it
put
too
it
early? Would it be too early to ask for like a few whatever resources so that we can play with these, like some of these
No,
things?
not at all. That's something we absolutely could do in the short term. Yeah.
Okay. Would you mind taking that that action item between now?
I'm glad to do it if you can give me a estimate on what you want.
I can do that once I get the container operational.
Yeah, I can say, we
want
need
3.
blah amount of stuff.
But yes, you do need 3. You do need 3 for like an actual like certified, like 3 VMs, or we could just use their managed Kubernetes, which is easiest.
Rendell at iCloud, I assume, is that your email?
Yes.
Excellent.
Rand.dal at iCloud. So RAN.DAL at iCloud.
Oh, good. In my contact list, I have you as Rendell. One word, no dots. Or do dots disappear? Is it one of those?
Here, I'll
magical
send it to you just in case.
languages?
Because I did get back into Gen 2.
Cool. So I think Vince makes sense for us to actually explore. With respect to comms ideas, I can start another thread to see if folks have ideas as well. And Crobe, if you want to add the awareness on the Slack channel for the tech stack, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Let me know if you don't have time. I'll.
No, the Slack thing it'll take 3 seconds. I just need to find the link to the discussion.
Can you send me a link to your notes? Because for some reason I can't find them. Or they're on GitHub, aren't they?
So right now, I did not get a chance to create a dedicated doc. Let me put the notes, like I've been taking notes in the actual CERT meeting notes right now,
Okay.
just so that like we have at least a little record. Then under temp section 3.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Perfect.
It's minimal, but at least we have a record.
Yeah.
We can migrate them if people want. Because I didn't know if we wanted to use like whatever GitHub built-in discussions or issues or something like that might be a little bit more public, but turns out.
Is this
shared
where you
docs is
had the link to the repo for Vince and Docker?
The link for GitHub repos is in the discussion itself. Let me put that here. So I'm using GitHub's discussion for that.
Oh,
We gave it a
awesome.
shot. There we go. I'll put it under your name. It's on discussion 8 OSS-SIRT.
Thank you.
And if you click, GitHub
Yep.
CERT CC Vince.
Yes. Okay, so we need to package it in a container. They don't have it prepackaged, or is it in this repo?
Okay.
Because I don't see a Docker file. I think we have to package it.
If you're comfortable playing around with that, that'd be awesome.
Packaging is my middle name.
Randall, there you go.
Trans package all.
Yeah. I'll get on this today, and I will make a repo so that we have an actual thing, and then we can move it wherever you want. But I will make. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, just for the record, though, it says right here that Vince, a Django application, is designed to run on Amazon Web Services and is developed around many AWS services such as Cognito, S3, Elastic Beanstalk, CloudFront, SQS,
We may
SME,
need to get AWS.
AWS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or that is definitely a limiting factor for her. We might be able to enable her to go multi-cloud.
True. That might explain why they haven't created a package, but I will check, and I will play around with this. That could be my homework.
All right, I sent a note out to the tech Slack and the general Slack requesting feedback on tools.
Smooth. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Actually, can I say something real quick? I don't know what if this tool is useful, but you could also look at TestifySec.
Is that a SIEM kind of thing, or?
Kind of something like that. It's supposed to be open source, I believe. I believe Cole Kennedy, which is supposed to be in the foundation, he's been around, made it. I don't know him or anything. It's just one of those things that I happen to know a lot of really random information.
What was it called again?
TestifySec.com. I can throw it in the notes.
Can you add it to the discussion?
Yes, that's you got it right. Oh, the discussion. Yes, I will.
Cool.
Yes, I will add this.
I just realized I have a weird habit of bracketing the dots.
No worries.
To ensure no URL, if I have no URLifications of bad URLs gets fixed. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Just thought it'd be worth mentioning.
So that's enough action item for 2 weeks for like a volunteer kind of thing. I would like us to not add more on our plates. And we'll see how section 1 and 2 progress on those things. So Randall, you're in section 1, right?
Yes.
Let us know if you would like assistance, because as you've noticed, there might be some free cycles on our end until section 1 and 2 actually have a stronger positioning.
Agreed. I will try to move things forward on section 1 as fast as I can.
Cool. I would even suggest that if it comes down to time, you prioritize section one's work over testing Vince and like packaging it. Although I know it's enjoyable time, but
Well, what one's not the thing about it is I am talking to a lot of people, so I have to kind of, I'm trying to get the problem right because everyone defines it differently.
of course, this is internet.
I've even been privy to conversations where people feel that they need to explain the history of cybersecurity and why like modern cybersecurity doesn't exist. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for spending that time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yes, we have that everywhere, I think. Every level, left and right. All right. If that's the case, I would like to adjourn and give Randall 2 minutes back so he can open up his games again.
Great.
All
Sounds
right.
good.
Thanks.
Talk to you, gents. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good weekend.